GAA are going to decide on October 19th down in Cork whether the Tier 2 Championship is going to come into football. Just for those who haven't seen it, there's been a couple of plans, a couple of formats that have been in circulation since June, and one of them is going to be put forward. So how it works is that the provincial championships will stay the same. The All-Ireland qualifiers will then be open to Division 1 and 2 teams from the league, and any Division 3 or 4 team that get to their provincial final. So after that, everyone else is gone. The other thing is that will then move to a Tier 1 championship as is, and the straight knockout Tier 2 championship for all Division 2, 3 and 4 teams that haven't qualified for their provincial final. So one of the changes is that there will only be 2 rounds of qualifiers as opposed to 4 as there currently are. There will be a provision if a couple of Division 3 and 4 teams do get through the provinces or get to their provincial finals, there might be another round added in at that stage. So what will happen with the Tier 2, because I think that's the biggest concern that a lot of players in the weaker counties would have, that they just become the forgotten children of the GAA. But what the GAA are saying, and this is in quotes, is a range of marketing and promotional supports will be committed to the new competition, as well as the use of Croke Park for semi-finals and finals, and a planned increase in TV coverage, which is to be welcomed, to be fair. So it seems like they're making a fair effort to try and make this attractive. The thoughts on it though, the provincial championship, that's staying the same. I mean, it's an issue because the provincial championships are horrendous to watch at the moment. They're uncompetitive. There's so many turkey shoots, obviously double and battering everyone in Leinster for the guts of 12 or 13 years now. Kerry winning 7 in a row in Munster. Ulster's obviously quite good. Connacht is pretty good, to be fair. But the first few months of the football championship are generally a massive damn squib. There's very little happening. The hurling completely takes over, and obviously I won't go into the hurling now, but it feels like that's run off too quickly almost, that they could stagger it a little bit better. So I think the football championship is still going to be a drag for the first part of it. And then if the Super 8s continue to be as largely boring as they are, I'm not sure the championship is going to be massively exciting. But you don't know with the division or with the Tier 2 championship. That in itself could be very exciting. I'm more looking at the top end of things. The next thing then is there are 3 rule changes being brought forward at Special Congress at Páirc Uí Chaoimh on October 19th. And it's based on the research being carried out by the GAA Standing Committee on Playing Rules, led by Professor David Hassan. So these are the ones being voted on. The taking of all kickouts from the 20-metre line. Don't see a massive downside to that, but please let me know what you think. The introduction of a 10-minute sin bin for players who receive a black card, and that's obviously something that's happening in ladies football right now. And I think there does need to be a fairly strong kind of incentive to not do a cynical foul. Do I think that this is the answer? No, definitely not. I'd be more in line to say that if you do a cynical foul, it's a free on the 14-yard line, and no more than 2 players can be on the line. So therefore you're giving away what is not a certain goal, but a very good chance to score a goal and a certain point. So the only way you'll stop cynical fouling is by punishing teams on the scoreboard. So I think if there's 30 seconds to go in a game and a guy's running through, given a 10-minute sin bin, what difference does it make? You'll get 14 behind the ball. Like if you get that guy black carded and sin binned, you'll still be able to get 14 men behind the ball. So again, not into that. You have to punish teams on the scoreboard. The final rule then being voted on at Special Congress, the awarding of a mark to players who cleanly catch a ball kicked from on or outside the opponent's 45-metre line that travels at least 20 metres and without touching the ground. I don't like the intricacies of this one. I don't like the idea of travelling at least 20 metres. No referee can judge with their eye exactly what is 20 metres, and it'll, that's going to be a situation now where you'll see on analysis on TV, they'll end up measuring the distance and it'll be 19.5 metres and there'll be some sort of a scandal. I think you need to make it as simple as possible for referees. They already have an impossible job. It's a simple case of outside the 45, once it goes inside the 21/20 metre line without touching the ground and it's caught, then I think that would be perfect, because there's no interpretation. There's no kind of internal calculation for the referee. Was that 20 metres? It's cut and dry. So I think this is one that needs further thought, and I hope that's something that when they come to Special Congress, they're like, come on lads, let's not add to our issues here. We've enough problems with trying to interpret the black card. Let's not make it worse with this one too. The sideline kick, that it has to go forward, that's going to be abandoned, which I think is absolutely fine. No problem with that one. A couple of Super 8 amendments here, so I'm going to read out what the GAA are saying about their amendments, and some of it's to do with the fixturing of things. So the Ard Comhairle agreed to amend the scheduling of the existing All-Ireland Super 8 format for the final year of its trial in 2020. In round 1 of the group stage of the quarter-final, the 4 provincial champions will be at home against one of the teams who came through the qualifiers, so that was the case anyway. It is also agreed that for 2020, round 2 will see the winners of the round 1 matches play each other, while the losers of the round 1 matches will also face off, which I think is a very good move, because it means that there won't be situations like Dublin against Tyrone where both teams are already through and you have a dead rubber match. So the team that wins will be against the other team that wins, meaning there's a fair chance it'll go down to the last day. Really positive move, you have to say there. An obvious move, but at least it was followed through on. At present, there are a round of games that are scheduled to take place at Croke Park. It's now planned to give the authority to the CCCC to fix these games for venues other than Croke Park if deemed appropriate. This would require the approval of a full GAA Congress, and it is intended to bring forward a motion on this to Congress 2020 next February. If passed, it will come into effect for the 2020 Championship, which is in the final year of the 3-year trial with the Super 8s. The one thing I'd say that is, games can be fixed for venues other than Croke Park if deemed appropriate. You would imagine if there's any sort of a take up on Dublin games at all, unless the attendances fall through the floor, and now on the far side of the 5 in a row being completed, that they're basically just going to be still fixed them for Croke Park. That would be my read on it. If you have any thoughts on any of this, let me know, and as ever, make sure to subscribe. If you haven't already, you can just click subscribe under the video and click on the bell if you want notifications of when new videos go live.